Someone is trying to come in here. I didn't give anyone else this link.
Me either. Look, me either.
Hold on. What is this? Can you see the screen?
Well, howdy.
Oh Lord, have
Well, howdy.
mercy. What are you
All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. This is the Mic'd Up Podcast, and I am Kaya, your host. I am an author, an entrepreneur, and a poet. And today I am sitting down with the queen of country hood, the self-proclaimed queen of country hood. Miss Monica Walters is joining me today. How are you feeling today?
I'm great. How about you?
I'm doing good. I appreciate you sitting down with me. I'm really eager to dig into what makes this up here tick and where all these stories come from. So I'm going to read your bio and then we're going to get right into your Q&A.
Okay.
All righty. So your bio reads, romance author Monica Walters is best known as the queen of country hood love stories. As an Amazon best-selling author with multiple award nominations and wins, Monica has always had a passion for creating different worlds with words. Starting with poetry, writing has always been a constant in Monica's life. The interest began in her teenage years being in love for the first time. Her love for writing has only progressed. Song lyrics and poetry led to short stories. Then one day in her downtime, a short story became a full-length novel, which was self-published in 2014. The first country hood love story, 8 Seconds to Love, led to a string of novels highlighting country living from rodeos to ranches, but with the characters maintaining the urban dialect that readers love from her. Monica was born and raised in Beaumont, Texas, but she now resides in Nome, Texas, where most of her country stories take place. Besides being a wife and mother, attaining a Bachelor of Science degree in sociology has also helped her become a better writer, understanding characters and their complex personalities. Very nice. That's you've done a lot. You've
Thank
done a
you.
lot. Mm-hmm. Okay, so when I have authors on, girl, I really, like I said, I'm surprised you're not writing right now with all these books you have. You got your laptop near you, girl. I know it is. You got an open document next to you, don't
It's
you?
right here.
Is it open document
Yes, I
there?
do.
I
Yes.
I knew it. I know it. So you have to. So when I have authors on, the first question that I always ask is, what was your background before you stepped into your gift of writing? You mentioned in your bio that you got your degree in sociology. Was that something that you were doing before in that field at least?
Um, Trying to think. No, because when I started writing poetry, I was still in high school.
Okay.
So I started my degree plan in 1997, which was long before I wrote my first novel.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't write my first novel I wrote it in 2011. I
Okay.
hadn't graduated because I dropped out.
Oh,
And then
wow.
I went back and got my degree in 2013. So by that time, I'd already written two. And then that's when the degrees started kind of filtering into my stories like, oh, I know why she's doing this and why he's doing that or whatever. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
Okay. So now you're a full-time author, right?
Yes, ma'am.
How is that for you? How has that been?
It's been great. Of course, it didn't start off that way
Hmm.
because it was like a leap of faith, basically. My husband was like, just do it, just do it. I had a one book contract with Be Love Publications, and he was like, this is something you've always wanted to do. Anyway, I had already written 14 books by that time. And he was like, just do it. I got it. I got it while you try to get on your feet. And baby, it was rough.
Yeah. Yeah. What challenges did you run into? Like, well, first of all, how long ago was this? Like this, when did you
That
decided?
was that was the end of 2018.
Okay,
Actually around this time, 2018, so 6 years ago.
6 years ago.
And most of the troubles that we ran into were financial.
Mm.
Um, and we were okay for a little while until I got hospitalized. And
Oh,
so he was taking off work, losing days of work to see after
okay.
me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when things started like getting really rough. But I don't know if you've ever heard the statement that the journey gets the roughest when the your blessing is about to come.
Yes, I've heard that.
And truly, truly, it was like I want to say June or July of 2019
Hmm.
that I was hospitalized for 10 days. And August of 2019, I released a book that just kind of catapulted my career.
Oh, really? Wow.
So it was, yeah. So it was just, it was me. I guess, he just wanted to see how is she going to do through this tough time to see if she can handle the success. So,
Okay.
yeah.
What was the book?
Training my heart to love you. I'd had another book that was popular, which was 8 Seconds to Love,
Hmm.
but things kind of fell off after that. So when I did Training My Heart to Love You, I was like, you hear a lot of people write what you want to write, but at this point, I was thinking, okay, what do they really want from me?
Hmm.
What do the readers really gravitate to? And I narrowed it down to they liked my country stories. They liked BBWs.
Mm.
And so my publisher at the time, B Love, was like, we're going to put a BBW on the cover. We're going to get you a custom. And we're going to put this BBW on the cover. And we're going to make the book 99 cents just to get them to bite.
Right.
And that's what happened.
That was the
And
secret
it blew
sauce.
up. And it's been up since there. It's like 8 Seconds to Love did great, but then there was a lull right after. It kind of just dipped right back down. But with that one, things either stayed like this or they went up.
Hmm.
So that was the book.
Now let me ask you, when you decided to have take a leap of faith and say, okay, I'm gonna do this full time, were you completely confident in your voice as an author, or do you feel like that's ever evolving?
I was completely confident. That's something I can truly say that I've always been.
Okay.
Because even now, I'll go back and look at my first book, like, Lord, what were you thinking? But at the time, you couldn't tell me it wasn't
Right,
good.
right, right.
So I've always, I've always been confident, and I guess that has to, a lot to do with my upbringing. So, yeah, I was always confident, no matter what,
Yeah.
regardless of what it was, whether it was books, my appearance, anything.
Well, that's good. That is a gives you a big advantage, especially in this
Yes.
field, because so many authors will second guess their writing, second guess their theme. Should they do
Mhm.
this? What are people going to think? It's a thing that
Right.
can really stop you from actually
Right.
putting out a book or even stunt your growth because you're so worried about A, B, and C and not focusing on not being confident in your talent as a writer. So I think that's great. And that explains why you have 50, 11 books. That explains it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So my next question I have for you is about the theme of the Black Cowboy. Because that genre doesn't really seem to be pushed to the front of the line when it comes to Black literature. Were you apprehensive to put that out there, even though you're confident in your writing and you're confident? Did you think that those books would do well just because of the genre?
I wasn't really apprehensive. about putting out the country stories because I felt like it was something that we as Black people needed to know more about. Because a lot of times when you look at country or just think of country, they typically think of white people. And that couldn't be further from the truth. Couldn't be further from the truth. We were the first cowboys. So I wanted to highlight that. And of course, with my husband being a bull rider, having that history, we live in a rural area, so I saw it every day. And I was like, you know what? I am about to write about a Black bull rider. And the common misconception is that Black cowboys are like white cowboys. They are not. They are not. They are just as hood as the next man that live in the city. Okay, they just happen to live in a rural area or rodeo for a living or do things of that nature. But yeah, they smoke weed. Yeah, they get drunk. Yeah, they turn up. They do all of that. So,
right. Okay.
So I just wanted to kind of educate through the fiction. And they liked it, thankfully.
I see that you have such a large group of support for you as an author, but definitely for the Henderson family series that is, Black Cowboys. We'll get into that in just a minute. But yeah, it's definitely, I feel like you filled a niche that was probably starving, like you said, it wasn't really represented. So yeah. Can you give some insight on how you craft your stories? Because like I keep, lovingly teasing you about you have 11 books, but really you have, I believe you're at number 23 with the Henderson family, correct? How do you keep those stories fresh? Like, how do you come up with the ideas? Because that's a lot.
Honestly, it's a gift. Some parts of it I can't even explain. As far as stories, I have a very large family. So, my mom was number 21. So she has a lot of sisters and brothers. So I have a lot of cousins.
Oh my gosh.
I get to look at everybody. Yeah, I get to look at everybody's lives, see what they're doing.
Oh my
and
gosh.
Of course, social media has made it that much easier. So I look at because some people tell their whole life on social media. I get ideas from that. I'll get ideas from the news.
Okay.
Or sometimes it's personal experience. Not very often, but sometimes it is. So.
Okay. All right. Well, side note, you said your mother is number 21. Number 21 out of how many?
21.
Oh, she was, like they said,
she was the last one.
She was the mic drop. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Yeah. So like her oldest sister is old enough to be her mother.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. There's I think there's like 20 years in between the oldest and the youngest.
Yeah, that goes, I can imagine.
It's a lot.
Yeah, so you do have, I can see how you have a lot of material to, grab from when you are writing, because I can only imagine what family get-togethers look like. But let me not go down that rabbit hole with you. So what would you say when you're writing, when you sit down to write? Do you have a goal in mind when you're writing? Or is just let me get this thought out on paper, and however it comes across when I publish it is how it comes across?
Basically the latter, because I'm a freestyler. So I know because I write romance, I know that every story most likely will be a happily ever after, unless it's a series and, it ends in disarray or whatever. But for the most part, it's going to be a happily ever after. So I know that much. I know no matter what they're going through, they're going to end up together loving and being a wonderful family.
Right.
So I know that much. Most times before I start, I know how it's going to start. But I develop my characters first. So I know who I'm writing about before I start writing.
Gotcha.
So I think that's what helps the freestyle process go a little faster because I know who I'm dealing with already. I mean, as far as even with what their favorite foods are, down to that. So, yeah, I don't really have a goal in mind other than I know they're going to have some trauma, some type of trauma or drama. And most times the common theme in my books is forgiveness. That's a common theme. Whether the relationship is sustained or not is another thing. But forgiveness for sure. And, the cliche statement, forgiveness is for you. Well, that is true. It is for you to release things and just let things go to where they don't affect you negatively any more than they already have. So most times, love and forgiveness are common themes in my books.
Okay. How long does it typically take you to write a project, a book from start to finish?
Depending on the length, it could go anywhere from a week to 3 weeks.
That's really fast. What type of word count we talking? 40, 50, 60?
The most I'll do most times is around 75. But typically my sweet spot is around 55 to 65.
Okay.
Just depending on how much drama is in the book. So like a 60,000 word book usually takes me about 2.5 weeks. Because I do 5K a day.
I was gonna say, yeah, because that's really fast. Okay. Okay. How do you stay motivated to do that? Not motivated to do that, but how do you keep yourself motivated to knock out your 5K a day? Because I'm sure you probably have days where you rather just not do it, Is it like your characters are talking to you or like what's happening? Do your characters bug you?
Well, I need some wood to knock on because I've never had writer's block.
Okay.
I've had moments where I've been mentally overwhelmed to where I need to take a break. But not because my characters weren't speaking. But typically it started at the beginning of my full-time journey, where it was like I had the mentality, I have to. I have to get us out of this, lull that we're in. I have to grind. I have to push these books out so people can start gravitating to me, because my publisher was like, release as often as you can. She said, eventually they'll get tired of seeing your name and they'll be like, let me read something this girl wrote, because I'm always seeing her name. And, it doesn't work for everybody, but it did work for me. And so, it's kind of habit now.
Yeah.
So I did that for like a year before, it started paying off, but it's habit. So now it's kind of like, how do I slow down? I don't know how.
I think it's great that you don't get writer's block. I guess, why do you think you don't get writer's block? I'm just curious because I get it.
I have no idea. Well, I also feel like it's because I don't force anything. I don't force anything. I let them, if it's a story that I'm not sure about, I don't write it. It has to be something I feel within me to write in order for me to write it.
Yeah.
There are moments though where, like people say life start lifing, but if I'm not passionate about the story in the beginning, I'm not going to write it. I have to be excited before I even start writing the book.
That makes sense. Let's see. What would you say is the most challenging part of storytelling for you?
The in-between moments. I'm a get to it kind of person. So
Yeah.
it's like those down moments between the drama or between the love making or whatever, just getting
Oh,
the transitions from one place to another.
yeah.
Those are the hardest for me. So like sometimes days I don't meet that 5K, especially when I have a lot of in between. So then I'm like, oh God, okay, I only got 3K done. But then the next day I'll have a lot of drama and mess around and do 7 to 10K.
Mm,
So it makes up for it. But yeah, those are the most challenging moments for me, the transitions and the
yeah.
in-betweens.
I call those the filler scenes. And typically, I hear a lot of authors say the same thing. Like those are the ones where
Mm-hmm.
they just is like, they just write it because you have to, like, because you have to get that depth into the character, into the story. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
that's I could see that one. In what ways do you feel that writing, becoming a full-time author, having, um, having the readership you have, how do you feel that's helped you or changed you personally?
Honestly, I'm still the same old crazy Monica I was when,
Mm-hmm.
when I started.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I've always been friendly. I've always, but the only thing that has changed is, the people around me listening to, the things they say. Like my girls, like, Mama, you famous. I could Google you right now.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of stuff. I was just like, or it's that kind of stuff. I'm like, come
Right.
on now, no, don't do that. I'm still Monica,
Right.
Monica from 2010. I'm still the same her practically, as far as growth. Yeah, that's different. But yeah, my personality is still the same. The readers, they get who they get.
Yeah. Now, have you gone into a space, because I know you do in-person author events and things like that. And I understand you're the same person that you were when you started. But do you sometimes go into a space and people make you feel like you're like a like the author superstar, or make you just feel like that?
Sometimes I try not to dwell on it. But yeah, sometimes, especially like I had a reader come to me just crying because she
Oh,
was so excited to meet me. And I was just like, girl, what is wrong with you? And I'm sensitive, so I'm standing there crying with her because I
oh
didn't know
my
what was
goodness.
going on. She was like, I thought I had missed you because I was late, but you're here. And oh my God, I'm
Oh.
meeting Monica Walters. And I'm like,
That is so sweet
but
though.
yeah, it feels great. It feels
Yeah.
great. It does.
Yeah. That's a
Knowing
good.
that my writing touches them in that way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure that's a great feeling.
Yeah.
All right, let me see. Speaking of your supporters and your readers, how does it feel to know that you have an army of Monica Walter readers out there, probably in your DMs, when's the next release? In your DMs, I can't believe you wrote this. How does that feel like overall?
It's somewhat overwhelming, honestly,
Mm,
because it's just like, I guess before all of that, I was writing and just putting it out there. I
right,
didn't, it was like, okay, if I make money, I make money. If they read it, they read it. If they don't, they don't. I don't care. I'm doing this for me
right.
because it's something that I love. And so when it got to that point, it was just kind of like, oh my God,
Mm,
like they really checking for me like that, so it was overwhelming. But I could feel the love,
yeah,
knowing that people that have never met me are writing for me that way. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. People be ready to verbally box over
Oh
authors
my
that
God.
they love. They really do be.
Yes, they will. So that's why I try not to share too many negative things with my readers because I don't need
Mhm.
them going for me like that.
Right,
I'm grown. I can handle it. I
right,
don't
right,
need
right.
you going hunt somebody down because of a negative review. So I try not to share that kind of stuff.
Right.
Unless the only way I share it is if it was done publicly, like as far as like on social media and other people saw it.
Right.
So then I'll be like, okay, let me say something about this.
Right. Let you address it. Right.
Yeah, but other than that, no, I try not to, because they will go hard for me. They will hop in somebody else's inbox and curse somebody out
Yes.
about me.
I think that's great. Like, you don't even have to worry about it. They probably blocking so many people.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great thing that people are that protective of you, because it really just shows love. It shows that, they care about you as an not only an author, but as a person.
Yeah.
And they want you to be protected and well and happy. So I think that's a great thing.
It is.
Yeah. Okay, so my next question is, to date, what has been your most talked about book and or character? What's the one when someone come up to you and say, I read so and so, or this character? I'm sure you have a lot, but what do you hear the most?
My face.
I know you're thinking.
It's probably 8 Seconds to Love, Legend Simeon. They love him, and he's a bull rider. He smokes weed before he rides. He has sex before he rides to calm him down. So yeah, they talk about him a lot. He was their very first, most of them, their very first read by me, their very first book bay, by me. So they talk about him a lot.
And possibly,
I think that's the one that gets close.
Okay. I was going to say, and possibly their first introduction into a Black cowboy too.
Yeah. I mean, you have others that'll write it, but most of them do not cover rodeos. It's more of ranchers, so it's okay. And mine is specific to what I see. So it's like, you're not going to see a howdy partner in my book. You won't see that because they don't talk like that where I'm from. They have the twang. As you can hear, I have it. But they don't talk like that. They talk just like what's up,
right.
What's up, that's how they talk.
Right. Have you ever run
into a horse?
Right. Let me ask you, have you ever run into a howdy partner cowboy?
Never.
I wonder where that came from. It just seems like I've always felt like that phrase was something somebody just made up, because
that's who. Black people do not say that.
Oh my goodness.
Look, they're not gonna say partner, they'll say partner.
Oh my gosh.
More of that Houston type dialect, that partner. Right. What's up, partner? What's happening, partner? That kind of thing. But it's never no howdy. No.
Okay. What is, my cheeks are hurting already, man. Okay. What is the most common feedback you get from your work? Not necessarily the cowboy stuff, but just in general.
What is going through your mind when you write some of this? Where did you get that from? Those kind of things. Or why did you do that? Not all the time, but typically I'll have, that turning point, or like some type of surprise scene in a book where they never saw it coming. So they're like, oh my God, or I had to put the book down, or I threw my book, or threw my phone, or whatever. Like, I can't believe she did that. So I'll get that. Yeah, a lot.
Now, when you hear those things and you feel like you did your job?
Yes, I laugh. I laugh because I'm like, first of all, ma'am, I did not plan that. So it shocked me just as much as it shocked you.
All right. So my next question is, you say you published your first book in 2014, but you mentioned already that you've been writing way before that. But since publishing your book 10 years ago, what still surprises you in this space?
I can honestly say 10 years ago, I didn't know what I was doing. So I knew nothing. I
Mm-hmm.
was literally green when it came to the industry.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know anything about the industry until probably 2018. I was just writing and putting it on there, you know? So I think the thing that surprises me the most, though, is comprehension and how people really, they read a lot, but a lot of times they don't comprehend what they read. And I'll get a lot of inboxes or why I didn't do this or do that. And I'm like, really? You actually think that would have made sense? Did you really read what I wrote?
Right.
So it's those type of things. And then of course the I wouldn't say the lack of support because I have plenty of author support. I have a lot of author support. But just seeing that some people don't, or the animosity between authors, it's kind of like, what? Why?
Right.
Why? Why? But
All right. So my next question I have for you is, what has been your biggest pinch me moment of your literary career that you just couldn't believe that happened? Like it completely took you by surprise. You were overwhelmed by it. What was that moment for you?
honestly, I'm a very spiritual person.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing truly surprises me when I've asked for it. So it's like, okay, if I've been praying for this and it happens, why am I surprised? But I have had a pinch me moment, and it was with my Be Right Family series. Everything that I'd been asking for had happened, or whatever. And my next thing was, I want a book to dip under 100 paid on Amazon. I want that to happen for me. I wanted to make the top 100 of all books on Amazon.
Right.
In Be Right book number 11, because that series has 15. So I was on book 11 and I was in Walmart. And the book had released the day before. So I checked the paid a lot.
Right.
And when I checked the paid, it was 99. And when I tell you, I had a whole meltdown in Walmart, screaming, crying, people looking at me like I had lost my mind. And my husband was like, what? And I showed him. And then he started hugging me and congratulating me too. Because we talk about everything. So he knew what my goals were. So that was the moment, like, this can't be real. Even though I know I prayed for it, it was still surprising, but not surprising as that it happened then. I knew one day it was going to happen. I just didn't know it was going to be then. So, because like I literally just prayed for that the year before. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
It was overwhelming. Yeah.
Well, congratulations on that.
Thanks.
That's a really great accomplishment.
Yes.
My next question is, what advice? Well, before I ask you that, no, I will ask you this. What advice would you give, do you give to new authors? Because I'm sure people ask you for advice. What's like the go-tos that you give them? The nuggets, the gems?
The first thing is that for them to make sure that it's something that they truly are passionate about. Because as with anything, everything has its hard moments, its hardships, its challenging moments. And if you really aren't as passionate as you think you are, you'll fold. So be sure that it's truly something that you're passionate about and that you truly, truly want to do, because if it is, then nothing will stop you. Secondly, to be disciplined. Discipline goes a long way. I'm not saying don't take time for yourself, although I didn't. But take time for yourself. But at the same time, when you're supposed to be writing, write. Do whatever you have to do to be in that space. If that means you have to outline to do it, outline. If you have to plan out the whole doggone book before, chapter by chapter, do that if that's what it takes for you to be able to write that story. So you have to be disciplined. You can't let just any and everything distract you, or you'll never finish. You'll never see the potential that you could reach. And have tough skin.
Yeah.
Tough skin is a must. When your success thrives on the opinions of others. And that's in any entertainment industry, basically. When everybody is so opinionated these days, and they don't mind expressing their opinions regardless of who they will hurt. So they will be ugly, and sometimes they can be vicious.
Yes.
And you cannot let that tear you down.
Right.
Because it can.
Yeah.
It definitely can. And so I tell them, do not read those reviews. Don't go down a rabbit hole reading all those reviews. Did I read the reviews in the beginning? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But you can also filter your reviews and only read the 4 and 5 stars.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you know what that person has to say could affect you negatively.
Yeah.
Have I read some of the 1 stars, 2 stars? Yes. And rarely. Matter of fact, I don't think I've ever had a 1 star that was a good critique. It was always something malicious.
Yeah, I really think that sometimes people just say things just because they can.
Exactly.
Just to be nasty,
Exactly.
just to be mean.
Mm-hmm.
Really no constructive criticism. No, I really believe that because I try not to read reviews just in general, like when I'm looking for something to read. I try not to read them so much anymore because they're really not reliable. Like,
they are
so many people, so many readers who support us. And then when you see the ones that for seemingly no reason seem to have a personal vendetta against somebody, you're like, well, what's your problem? If you didn't like book 1, why are you on book 5 still complaining? It doesn't make any sense to me. Like,
and people, the first thing they say, well, look at how many good reviews you have. And you're letting this one negative one. But what they don't realize is that our society thrives on negativity. It's why you see all the negative posts on Facebook before you see the positive ones. We thrive on negativity. You can even look at a GPA in school. A F will totally destroy it, but an A barely brings it up.
That
barely.
A very good analogy.
So it's like negativity, it takes effort to be positive.
It does.
It takes a lot of effort to be positive. And so if you know something is going to send you into a tailspin, try to avoid it.
Right. I agree.
If it's something you have to address, then just address it. But if it's not something you need to address, avoid it.
I agree with that.
So I'll read my reviews the first week after a release, and that's because I know it comes from my core, from my day ones, gotcha. my people that ride for me, and I promote with those reviews. But after that, I'll look at how many I have, but I don't have to look at the reviews to see how many I have.
Right.
So,
yeah. Avoiding negativity is sage advice to anyone watching, anyone listening. That's sage advice, not just for writing, but just in general.
Absolutely.
Save yourself. My last question I have for you is, what projects or events do you have coming up that you can tell us about?
Lord have mercy. Okay, so I am writing a book that I'm about to shop traditionally. That's what I'm working on now that I have to finish this week. And then I'll be doing a spinoff to a book I released earlier this year from the Arranged Heart series. It was about an arranged marriage.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm doing that, and then I'll have a standalone coming after that. So anybody that has not read a Monica Walters book will be able to dive in right there. Also events. Okay, let's run it down. Let's see what I got. So this weekend, this weekend is over. So Friday, I'll be leaving for Lexington, Kentucky. I'm doing Authors in the Bluegrass.
Okay.
In an effort to reach other readers. And then the weekend after that, I'll be in South Carolina for Southern Hearts and Signed Kisses. That's October 19th. November 1st and 2nd, I will be in Virginia for Romance Readers and Writers, aka RAW. December 14th, I will be in Houston for the Boozy Book Tour. Yeah. You see me like, yeah. And then March, I'm putting on my own event in Mesquite, Texas. And it's called Bulls, Boots, Books, and Bling. So we will be doing a meet and greet, book expo. We'll be going to the hip hop rodeo that night, and then a brunch. So that'll be in March next year.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're hoping to have fun, but I wanted to do it because it kind of encompasses the type of cowboys I write about.
Mm-hmm.
Because you get to that hip hop rodeo and you see the bros walking around and with their diamond studs and their grills and their Stetsons.
Yeah, that sounds like
kind
fun.
The type of cowboy. Yeah, type of cowboy I write about. No, they are not listening to country music. They are listening to hip hop.
Right,
They're listening to rap. So
you make me want to come down.
That's what I write about.
Yeah, you make me want to come down there. I want to see some of them type cowboys. I like the way you talking about them. They sound all right with me. Okay.
Yeah. And at that rodeo, there's usually a performance. They won't release who will be performing next year until December, and I'm excited to know who. This year was Rich Homie Quan, so I don't know if that was his last performance or not, but he was there this year. So I'm not sure who's going to be there next year, but I'm anticipating it something fierce.
Okay. Well, what made you put on your own event? What made you decide to want to put on your own event?
I've been mulling it over for the past couple of years because I wanted them to see what a Black rodeo looks like. Because a lot of them were like, oh, you making me want to watch. I can watch a rodeo on TV and know what's going on just from reading your book. And I'm like, okay, did you see an all Black rodeo though? No, it was okay. Well, I want y'all to experience that. Yeah. And so I was like, that rodeo happens at the same time every year. It's always the third weekend in March in the same location. So I was like, I could plan an event around that. And we can do books, which of course the main point is to sell some books.
Right.
But we can have fun while doing it to learn some stuff.
I hope you have like a videographer there because that sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So the next thing I want to do with you is a little palate cleanser, if you will, before we move on to the book discussion. It is a simple this or that, but it is Black Cinema Edition.
Oh.
So you're going to tell me which movie you would prefer to watch. All right. Okay. Going to start off strong. Menace to Society or Boys in the Hood?
Boys in the Hood.
Boys in the Hood. Okay. Juice or New Jack City?
Juice.
I would say New Jack City on that. Okay.
Juice for Tupac alone.
Oh, you know what? That's true. Maybe that could be a draw. Dead Presidents or Belly?
Belly, just for that one scene, baby. Just for that one scene.
I'm gonna have a confession. I never watched the whole movie.
It's close, relatively close to the beginning. That scene with DMX and Keisha.
I don't know what
Whew.
you're talking about. So I don't know. I just remember the trailer when they was walking through the club in the white suits and
With
the
those
white
eyes,
eyes. So, okay.
baby, it's a very intense scene with him and his lady.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
and I was
Yeah.
just like, that pulled me in all the way in.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Jason's lyric or poetic justice?
Ooh, that's hard because I love them both. I guess Jason's lyric just because it happened in Houston and I'm an
Mm.
hour from Houston, even though their twangs got on my nerves. Uh, they always overdo it, but I like Jason's lyric, I think, a little bit more.
Yeah, I remember watching that movie and who is it? Alan Payne. That's his name,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And I knew he didn't have that accent, but it's this one part when they're watching the sunset, he goes, I never really watched the sunset before. I was just like,
Listen, looking at that movie like, come on now, we don't sound that bad. Come on.
oh my gosh. All right. Next one. The best man. Let's say the first best man. The first one. Or Boomerang.
Oh, both classics. Probably Boomerang.
Boomerang. Yeah. I would say, yeah, I would say Boomerang. You know why I would say that? Because it was such a non-expected role for Eddie Murphy. Like, who thinks Eddie Murphy
Absolutely.
thinks that role? So I think he did great things
Nobody.
with that movie. Okay.
He
Um,
did.
he did. White Man Can't Jump or He Got Game.
Probably White Man Can't Jump because he got on my nerves. I did not like that movie. It
Yeah.
was so boring to me.
I love Wesley Snipes, so I love Wesley
Oh,
Snipes. Friday, first Friday,
you
um,
see me already laughing.
or A Low Down Dirty Shame.
Oh God, a low down dirty shame.
A Low Down Dirty Shame. Okay.
Lord, Mr. Coffee.
You want some steamed milk in your coffee? Like that.
I love that movie.
Say you wasn't saying that
Ooh.
last night when we was in bed, girlfriend.
And you was speeding. Oh my God. That movie. Oh my God.
Not when he was beaten. Okay. Um house party. House party or the wood.
Hmm.
First house party.
Probably the wood.
Really?
Yeah, probably the wood.
The wood.
Um, I don't know what it was about a house party. I liked it, but I guess I was too young when I first watched it to really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
So I gravitated more towards the wood. Then, of course, when I went back and watched it when I was older, I laughed a lot more. But
Mm.
I think I like the wood more.
Okay.
Hmm.
Crooklyn or soul food?
Soul food, and the reason being because I never even really watched Brooklyn in its entirety. But soul food, whew, that was just a classic, and just like it was like a game changer.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I feel like Crooklyn and just Spike Lee movies in general are like an acquired taste. I really feel like that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Hmm. Love Jones or How Stella Got Her Groove Back.
Stella, 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 Stella.
I would say Stella on that one too. Waiting to
Yes.
Exhale or The Bodyguard.
Waiting to exhale because that's a good man, Savannah.
It's a good man. Okay. Okay, two more. Lean on Me or Higher Learning.
Lean on me.
Mm-hmm.
Lean on me. You couldn't tell me nothing. Nothing.
You know what
About
scene? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
The scene where they do the argument, where they have the argument after the meeting, then they go get something to eat together.
Let's go get breakfast. Let's go get something to eat.
Let's go get something to eat. He just standing there looking crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I laughed on the part that wasn't supposed to be funny. Why don't you just go ahead and jump? I don't want to jump. And I'm just laughing. Like that is not supposed to be funny.
I have inappropriate humor as well. I can't help it.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. Rush Hour 1 or Bad Boys 1?
Oh, God bless it. Probably Rush Hour. Because I like the Bad Boys 2 way more than I like the first one.
Bad Boys 2,
So
that was
probably
one.
Rush.
Well, that was one with Gabrielle Union.
Yeah.
Okay.
That one was so funny. Oh my God. The first one just was all right to me.
Well, did you see the last one?
Oh yeah, I like the ones after 2. I like, 3, and I like the last one, but the first one just was okay to me.
Okay.
But that second one, that made me wait for the third one, anticipate another one, you know?
You know, I'll say this. The third one didn't really do it for me. But the fourth one, I feel like they redeemed themselves on that last one.
The third one was good. It wasn't as good as the second one. The second one was just like up there for me. I could watch it over and over.
Okay. Alrighty. So that was the last one. So now we're going to move into the book discussion of the podcast. And can I just do a temperature check on you? Are you okay? Are you comfortable? You enjoying yourself?
Yes, I am in the shade. And as you can see, I have a little breeze. So I'm good.
Okay. Alrighty. So for the book discussion portion, we are going to talk about Make Me Remember, which is book 23 of the Henderson family saga. Does that sound crazy, me saying that's book 23?
Yeah, especially when there were only supposed to be 3.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I listen to my readers too much. Way too much.
I got you. Well, they keep coming back to you, so they know what they want and you know what you're doing. It's a mutually beneficial relationship here.
Look, I suppose so.
All right. So for those of us watching who haven't dived into the Henderson family saga, the series, can you tell us about the family and tell us about this latest book?
Okay. So the family, they live in a small town called Nome, Texas, which is actually where I live. They are ranchers. They are business owners. They own their own company, whereas they produce rice and sell it in the grocery stores. They have grass fields where people, buy their grass. They have hay fields, just cattle, all the whole 9 yards. But they also pretty much own the town, basically. It's like the town is thriving because of their efforts. They also have their own separate businesses, such as like tire shops, liquor stores, washaterias, restaurant, you name it.
I'm sorry.
They have it.
A wash of what? I'm sorry.
Oh, Lord. Y'all probably call it a laundromat.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yes.
We call it a washateria.
Y'all call them washaterias for real?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And if you really, really get deep into the country, they don't even pronounce that right. They say washaterias. So then you'll be like, now what?
That's the first time I've heard of washateria. Okay.
Right. Yeah, washateria. But laundromat. She owns a laundromat. But it's seven siblings when book 1 starts. Of course, they discover there's another later, but there's 7 siblings, and I guess you can see why I got coaxed into doing more because I'd only done 3. And the fourth one wasn't hard to go into, and then I took a huge break because I was like, I'm done. But yeah, the first character, his name is Storm Henderson, and he's very rude, very much a jackass, very much so. And he's in everybody's business throughout the entire series. He's the one character of mine that never shuts up. Never. I can be writing a book totally off, not even a Henderson book, and it's like he will pop in my head. And it's like, bruh, it's not even your turn. It's not your turn. But yeah, he's a jackass. And so like they all have these different personalities that I'm able to filter through and maintain, surprisingly. It's like they never do anything outside of what I created them to do. But there's a lot of drama. Lots of drama. If you've ever seen the series Yellowstone, they are the Black version of Yellowstone.
Really?
There's drama, there's violence. There's rodeos, there's cowboy teams, you know? But yeah, you get a little bit of everything. There's a little pum, you know, in there or whatever.
Right.
And a lot of hood stuff going on. Dope boys, you have it all in that series. They just live in the country.
Gotcha. And this latest one,
yeah, I am now in the second generation.
Oh, okay.
Of Henderson. And he is one of the oldest sisters. He's the oldest sister's son. He kind of grew up seeing a lot of abuse. His mom was in a domestic violence situation with his biological father. So even though he grew up seeing that, he had a lot of strong uncles to look up to help him know that wasn't how things were supposed to be. You know, a lot of times kids emulate what they see, whether it's right or wrong. But he knew it was wrong and pretty much had threatened to do something about it, you know, by the time he was a teenager. But his mom did get out of that situation without giving away too much. I can't say how.
Right.
And so as he has grown up, he's, I want to say 32 in his book, somewhere around that age. And he's wanting to settle down, but he was a male whore at some point and has a lot of drama with, and I don't want to say she was an ex-girlfriend because she was not his girlfriend, but just an ex-acquaintance.
Okay.
And some issues that he's having to deal with mentally and physically, because Make Me Remember is kind of like a continuation of Make Me Forget, which was right before that.
Oh, okay.
So it ends, you know, it's another character, another set of characters, but it ends with something that he did. And then it goes into his story.
Goes into him.
So, yeah. So, but he does meet the one. She ends up being his physical therapist. And if they read Make Me Forget, they know why he's seeing a physical therapist, because some popped off, you know. So he falls in love with her, basically, to get down to the nitty gritty. But there's like some deep-seated issues that both of them have to overcome throughout the story. And at some point, you're kind of wondering if they will.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think you will ever complete this series?
It is so hard to say because it's my fault. I made the family way too big. I let them have so many children. And they're like, seem like all they do out there is that. Well, I mean, there's nothing else to do. I mean, there's a liquor store, a restaurant, a couple of convenience stores, a post office.
Right.
What exactly is there to do in Nome besides work, get drunk, get high, and get it in? That's it. Yeah, so they have a lot of kids. And it's like, seems like I get to one story and another one decides to talk. And so when they talk, it's like, oh, Lord, now they got to have a boo. You know, because I know they're going to hound me. And I just got an email through my website today. When is the next Henderson book coming? And I'm like,
yeah. Do you feel like you're going to have to put your foot down?
At some point, yes. But it's so easy to write them now because I know the family. I mean, they my family.
Right.
You know, by now I know them like I know my own family.
Yeah, they're partying.
So it's like it doesn't take much for me to write one of those books.
Right.
So it will probably never end until I come to an end.
Oh my goodness. That is funny. That is funny. All right. So my last question about the book or the series in general is, have you ever considered getting your books? Oh, hold on. Someone is trying to come in here. I didn't give anyone else this link.
Me either. Look, me either.
Hold on. What is this?
Oh, they playing. They probably trying to get into something else and typed in the wrong. Probably typed it and typed in the wrong thing. That's crazy.
Can you see the screen?
Well, howdy.
Oh, Lord, have
Well, howdy.
mercy. What are you doing?
Well, you know, I was over at the Ponderosa and I was hearing that Kai and Montague and Miss Monica Walter was going to have a shindig, so I figured I'd just join. And you know what? I realized that we hadn't been talking enough about a particular event. You know, so you know, as you can see, I got my 10-gallon hat. Saying I don't know where my bling is, but got my boots right here. You know what I'm
Lord have
saying?
mercy.
The only thing that I'm missing is a couple of books. You know?
Boom.
So there you go. So I just wanted to show some love to my sister, and I'm gonna get out your way.
Oh my gosh, that hat!
Howdy.
Lord, he
You
got
don't
on
even
an
know what it
Easter
took to
hat.
find this hat. This right here was work.
You going to the Easter rodeo? That's where you going? You going to the Easter rodeo? That's why you got that hat on? That turquoise hat on?
I told you. I've been looking out weeks for it. I found this. My neighbor had this hat at the last minute, and I was like, you know what? Let's go. I've come too far. I was committed. So here we are.
A mess. A mess. It's good to see you, brother.
It's always good to see you too. Just want to say how I love you, and I'm gonna get out your way because I got to go run. But I just look, I want to plug books, blings, and you know what? It's your event. You got it. What's it? What you tell us? You tell the people what it is.
Lord,
I'm just gonna hold it the hard way.
Yeah.
This was signed too.
It is.
That hat is taking me under. You hear me?
Yeah.
That hat is taking me under.
I'm telling you, he looked like he better go say his Easter speech.
With the Lord. You know what? I'm done.
I did buy this for you.
Oh Lord, you're an outlaw.
Oh, that's what's called an outlaw.
I like it. I like it.
She is an outlaw.
I like it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right, guys.
Thank you so much for.
I'm gonna go.
Love you too.
And again, March. You tell the people. I'm going.
She got it.
Oh, she got it. Okay, I'm done. All right. Bye.
Did you like that?
Pleasant surprise. That was a pleasant surprise. Look, now my cheeks are hurting.
Oh my goodness. This whole time I was like, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? He was like, just stall. I was like, are you ready? Are you ready? But that was so cute.
Lord,
I had to
Yeah,
he told me that you two were good friends. And I was like, hey,
yeah.
I said, you want to pop on and surprise her? And then he came up with that.
Obviously. Now he live in Houston. He know that ain't how they go.
That is so funny. But I know I was asking you, have you ever considered getting your books into like on TV, movies, TV?
Yes. Yes, I am so passionate about it. It's like I want it so bad. And I'm trying to bide my time and wait and be patient because again, that's something I've been praying for as well. And, you know, if it's for me, it's going to happen. But I don't want to spend my hard-earned money doing it.
Gotcha.
So
I
it's like,
understand.
I want you to come to me. Or I could come to you, but I want you to offer me a deal.
Right.
Like, okay, yeah, we want to develop the Hendersons into a TV series. Okay, let's do that. Or we want to take 8 Seconds to Love and make it a movie, make it a film. Let's do that. But I don't want to be the one financing it, trying to get it on Tubi and this, that. I don't want to do that.
Right. Right. I believe it'll come to you. I really do. I believe that you have a great series, a great readership. You have great support. You have a wonderful attitude. And I do feel like it's, like I said earlier, it's a niche that I felt like was lacking. And I feel like it will happen for you. So I
Thank
wish
you.
you much success on that. All right.
Thank
So
you.
we're winding down to the end of the podcast. So since I did not have an opportunity to read the book, and for those watching, I did start to read the book, but because the book was so involved with the family story already, that I didn't understand a lot of what was happening, so I didn't finish the book. So I want to give you a challenge because you have an extensive catalog that can be found on your website. I'll link it in the description box. I'm going to challenge you to name 15 of your books. 5 standalones. Nope, 5 standalones.
Oh, okay.
I just want to make sure you heard me. 5 standalones, 5 from the Henderson family saga, and 5 from it. Is it B-Rot? B-Rot?
B-Rot. Mm-hmm.
And 5 from the B-Rot series. So what? I'm pretty sure you got this. So yeah. 5 standalones.
Okay. Until I Met You, Best You Ever Had, Marry Me Twice, All I Need Is You. How many is that? Say
That's
You
4.
Love Me. Not Say You Love Me. Say He For Me. No, that's not right either. Hold on. Say He's the One. That's what I'm trying to say.
Say He's the One. Okay. And I got the like I'm checking your answers or whatever, but I have like the screenshot. I have the screenshot of your books right here in front of me.
I was trying to go too fast.
No, like I'm saying, oh, that's wrong. That's wrong. Okay. 5 of the Henderson family.
Blindsided by Love, Ignite My Soul, Come and Get Me, In Way Too Deep, You Belong to Me.
You're going right in order on how it is on here. So you got to memorize. Okay. And 5 of the, where is that? The B-Rot.
B-Rot.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not going to go in order with those because I'm going to name my favorites. Love Me Senseless, When You Dance, Force of Nature, Where You Should Be, and Gangsta.
I should have challenged you more. That was way too easy for you.
Listen, I forget real life stuff. But those books I remember.
But you remember. All right.
Yeah.
All right. The last thing that I want to do with you before we get up out of here is a quick game. And I usually play a game with my guests to close out everything. It's usually fun. And I have recently gotten this game. I've been having so much fun with it. It's called Lyrically Correct. A music trivia. Do you know lyrics? Do you know songs?
I know a lot of songs, but just to name them.
Oh, no.
The lyrics, I'm not good at that.
You might be, because these are all popular songs. It's 90s and 2000s hip hop and R&B. Let's give it a try. Let's see if you can get one.
We're gonna see.
Let's give it a try.
We're gonna see.
I think you'll be fine. What was Mary J. Blige searching for? It's her first single.
See what I mean?
Or wait.
A real love.
There you go.
A real love.
I'm gonna help you out.
I'm not good. Yeah.
No, you are. I'll just help you out because they're not. They're easy, but you kind of have to have the song in your mind. Okay.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Right. What did Escape need from you?
Understanding.
There you go. See, that's two. That's two. Where was Brandy sitting when she was thinking about you?
In her room.
Exactly.
These are a little easier, yeah.
Those are easier. Okay. Here's a little more of a challenging one. Why can't Deborah Cox and RL be friends?
Because they still in love.
Yes, ma'am. Still in love. That is such a beautifully sad song, ain't it?
It is. It is. But see, I do book playlists. So I listen to a lot of music, and a lot of the songs correlate with books. So that's how some of them I can remember more than others.
Okay. I'll give you a couple more and then we'll go ahead and close on out. Okay. Where was the party that Montel Jordan went to on Friday night? I know it's probably on the tip of your tongue. The party's here on the... Then I turn it up. Designated drive, get the keys to my truck. You want me to tell you?
What was that lyric? Yeah, just tell me.
On the west side.
The west side.
Here on the west side.
I didn't need on the west side. Yeah. See, I didn't needed the line before that.
I couldn't think of it. I couldn't think of the line.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Last one. What was the young boy doing to Lawrence Hill life with his words? This is killing me softly. What was he doing?
Killing me softly with his song. But let me see.
What was the young boy doing with Lawrence Hill life? What was the young boy doing to Lauren's life with his words? That's a tricky one.
Yeah, because all I could hear is this young boy.
What?
Oh.
Strumming my pain with this finger.
My pain with his finger.
And then
singing my life with his words.
That's it. Is singing my life with his words. That one wasn't so obvious. But that was the last one. So I think like if you get into this game, this could be a lot of fun. It seems seems to be family friendly so far, but I haven't gotten into all of it.
See, I've played it. I've played it before with my cousins, and I just gave up after a while. Like I ain't, because they wasn't giving hits like you, so I would never guess it.
Yeah, you got
somebody would always get it before me.
You got to give hints on that one. All right, so we are at the end of the podcast. I want to thank you all for watching, and I want to thank you, Monica, for joining me today. I really appreciate it. And I want to thank Mr. Norian Love for popping in with that ensemble. That was very memorable.
Lord have mercy.
Thank
you for having me.
You're welcome. Is there anything you would like to say before we close?
Just that you can find me at authormonicawalters.com. You can inbox me there. You can see my catalog. You can see what I have coming up. All that good stuff. My paperback store, everything. There's even a link to the event next year to where you can get more information about that.
Thank you all for joining us, and we will see you on the next one.